Hi and welcome to this DCP web tutorial. In today's tutorial I'm going to show you how to create a website wireframe using Microsoft Word. So let's go ahead and open up Microsoft Word and we'll click blank document here. So we've got this blank document. Let's zoom in so you can see it a bit clearer. And the first thing I want to do is save my work. So let's just go to File, Save As, and we'll go to this PC. Let's go to my desktop and I've got a folder here. I'm just going to call this file website wireframe-01. Let's go ahead and save this. So I've got this blank document. Now the objective is to create a wireframe that you can hand over to your web developers, you can hand it over to your designers. You might be working on this in your internal team, or you may be outsourcing your web design work to a web development company. The wireframe is the idea of the wireframe is to try and give your designer or your developer some sort of structure as to what you want your website to look like. Not necessarily look like, but how you want the information to be structured. You can also give some key indications like image sliders and how content may be laid out on the page. Now I often do this when I'm working on website projects because I work with my designers and my developers. We're a team together and each one of us specializes in a specific area of web development. I mainly focus on project management. So I'm communicating with my customer to get the ideas, and then I need to communicate those ideas and concepts to my designers and developers. And the easiest way I've found to do this is to simply create a Word document and structure it out in there. So let's go ahead and try and make something today. The first thing I want to do is reduce the margin sizes. We don't really need the margins to be this wide. I guess we can make them a bit more narrow, right? So let's go to layout, and inside layout we have the paper size and we have the orientation and the margins. Let's set the margins to narrow, so just be a bit more narrow, the margins. And what we'll do here is left click here and drag up, because we want to use as much of the page as possible. So we're going to leave a little bit of a margin at the top here, and we want to do the same at the bottom here. We want to drag down and leave a little bit of a gap at the bottom here, and that just gives us much more height to work with. I'm going to go to size and go to more paper size, and inside here in the height I'm going to type in 55 centimeters. I'm going to click OK, and it's going to say some of the margins are out of the sort of A4 print page. I'm going to say ignore, because I want my page to be as long as possible. So it's no longer, you know, a document that I want to print out. It's more of a document to illustrate content. So I want as much height as possible. So let's go ahead and think about how we can create this this structure for our page, or for an example page. So the first thing I'll do is normally I'll hit the enter key at least 3 times, 1, 2, 3, right? So I've got a bit of space to work above if I want to make some notes. We're going to make some notes in a little while above here. Now the way that I do wireframes in Word document is to use tables. So we're going to insert a table, and we're going to insert one like this, just a single table like this. And this table represents the header of the website. So what would we want in our header of our website? This is down to your own preferences really. And really what we should do is probably split this into 3 columns, would make more sense. So we can easily right click here, go to insert, and we want to insert a column to the left. So we'll insert a column to the left, and we want to insert one more, insert column to left. So now we've got 3 even sections here. On this left hand side, typically most websites you'll have your logo on the left or in the center, and then you're going to have some sort of navigation and then maybe some sort of contact information. So let's just put something in here for now. I'm just going to type in logo here, and then we want to type in the navigation. So I'm going to actually create some navigation here today. So let's just say we want a home page, and then we want something like a services page, and then we want a portfolio, and maybe we'll have a blog, and then finally we want a contact, right? And then you can just space these out, make them a bit wider, just so that you can get all of that navigation on one line. And the font sizes don't matter too much here. It's not really about font size, it's about structure, what you want to display on these pages, right? That's more important than visually maybe how it looks. That's not so important, the visual side of it, right? So we'll just reduce this down just to get a bit more space. So when I hand this over to my designer, clearly and quickly he can see what the navigation is going to be. And you may have to structure your navigation in different ways so that you can fit it on maybe 2 lines if you've got a lot of navigation, or you can place navigation in different locations. But this gives you a bit of a bit of control now, right, over the design. So let's go and write a line here, because on this side I want to put in a phone number. So I want to put in a landline first. Just going to make this landline up. Let's just put that in there. And underneath, not all businesses do this, but I think it's quite a good idea to put a mobile contact number as well. So I'm just going to make this up. So just put these two phone numbers there. And we've got basically a basic header done, right? We have a logo, so this will be your company logo. You'll have your navigation here. You've got a contact number and you've got a mobile number. So if you hand this off to your designer now, at least they ain't going to come back to you and ask you what is your correct phone numbers. You've put it in there, so they've got the correct information. What pages do you want on your website? Before you contact your designer, it would be nice if you, or a web development company, before you even contact them, if you can provide them with a document that is structured out to give them as much information as possible. When it comes to actually creating your website or giving you a quote, it's going to be much easier for them to work out what the cost will be to build something. Of course, you can have a conversation, you can call them and speak to them, and they can do all of this stuff for you. But if you can save them time, you can save yourself some money as well. So I'm going to move to this cell here, and I'm going to press the tab key, because that allows me to create another row. And this row, I'm going to press the tab key a few more times, so I get a second row as well. And I'm going to select this information here, or this row here. I can just click here and select the row. I'm going to right click and I want to merge the cells. So I'm going to merge it into one block here. You can see it's like one block, and I'm going to center this, and I'm going to make some space here. And normally what I'll do is I'll tell my designer what I want to happen here. So you can imagine this is like this could be one of a few things, right? So it could be an image, it could be a image slider. So sometimes you see on websites there'll be images that slide across, or it could be a block images, and it might showcase work, something like this. So there's three different options there, and normally I'll type in three things like this, and then I'll speak with my client or I'll speak with my designers, and we work out what is the best option. Is it better to just have a still image, have a slider, have some block showcase work, or even a video? So it could be one of these four things. Normally I'll pick one of them, speak to my client first, pick one, and then just delete the ones that I don't want. But at least when I send them the document, I can say, look, you can have an image, you can have an image slider, you can have blocks to showcase your work, or you can have a video. Which one do you prefer? They may say, I don't know, and then we can advise them, or you can, you can advise what is the best option. Or if you're doing this for your own business, then you can make that decision straight away, right? So then we want some sort of message, right? So we want a message here, and I will just make up this message. Let's get some content. So the message might be something like we custom design. Imagine this is for my own business, right? So we custom design and build amazing websites for businesses, increase conversion, revenue, and social media engagement. So I might have some sort of message there. Really, this doesn't need to be written here, and I might split this out into two lines like this. So that's kind of my call to action. Not even a call to action, more like a message to the customer. They'll see something and then they'll see this message. Probably it'll be wise to put the message above, and then whatever sort of image or stuff I'm going to do underneath, I can do that underneath here. So let's just imagine I decided to use block images to showcase some work, right? Some showcase client work. So that particular thing I will highlight in a green color. So I might leave the other ones there, and then I'll highlight this as well and make it green, so I know that the information is correct in here. And then I might click here and highlight this all green. So green is telling my designers, or green is telling me, if I close this document down and come back and open it again later, green will tell me that those things have been resolved. That's pretty much what I want, so I'm quite happy with that at that point in time. So let's click down here in this cell over here, and we're going to tab. Let's tab out a few more times. We just keep pressing the tab to insert rows. You can also, I believe, let's see, we should be able to just right click, insert, and then row below. You can do it that way as well to insert a row. Now this row here, I want to merge the cells, so I'm going to select them, right click and merge cells, and in here I'm going to center. I'll center the content, and maybe I'll do something like let's say we'll put in here client logos. So imagine if I've done work. Let's put client logos scrolling. Right. So let's spell that quickly. Scrolling. So what I want here is for the logos to scroll across, and maybe I'll show some of the companies that I've been working for over the years or quite recently. And I just want some logos to scroll across because that helps you to engage with your customer. To if they see a famous brand, maybe they'll recognize that brand and then say, okay, this particular company has worked with these bigger companies, but they've also worked with some smaller ones as well. I work with a mixed range of companies, some really big corporates down to small startup businesses. So for me, I want to showcase all of my work, but also show that I work with small and big and large companies and all sorts, and international ones as well. Quite a mixed bag is really what I want. Now, for me, most important is to give a customer a reason to come and buy something from you, right? So why would someone come and buy something from me? What are the reasons for them to buy something from me? And again, this will be your website, so you can illustrate this information any way that you want. It doesn't have to be scrolling logos here. You might have some introduction text. I'm just giving you an example of how I would do this for my own business. Then you can apply that same logic to your business. So I'm going to select this row here, and let's just see. Maybe actually what I'll do is select. Let's see. Where are we? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I want to emphasize to my website visitor that I offer, let's say we give them 10 reasons to choose my company. What are the top 10 reasons that they would want to choose my company apart from another website design company? So what I'll do is I'll select all of these 5 rows here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'm going to right click and merge the cells here. And then I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 2 rows makes 10, right? So I'm going to select these and left align them, and in here I'm going to say something like let's do like top 10 reasons to choose DCP web designers, and I might just put that on the second line, and we can use this button here to increase the font and make it a bit bigger. And we can just resize this slightly to get the content fitting a little bit better. I mean, in this document, it doesn't really matter what font sizes they are, to be fair, because more than likely this will all get done in the design work, right? It's just a piece of text to explain what is going to be going on this side here, and then I'll work with my designers to pick the right font size and the right sort of layout. So we'll have 10 things, right? So number 1, number 2, number 3, 4, 5, and then we'll have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and it clearly says top 10 reasons to choose DCP web designers. So what are these 10 things why would a customer come and choose me over a competitor, or something like that? So maybe one of those reasons is over 15 years. What we can do, if you've got text in your document that's all uppercase like this, you can paste the text in, and then you can go to, let's find it, where's it gone? Not this option here. So if you click on this one, you can do like capitalize each word, your sentence case. So we do sentence case, right? So over 15 years, we can reduce this, maybe try and get it onto one line. It's not that important, to be fair. Maybe even we can make this a bit smaller, so we can select all of them and just click here to reduce the font size a little bit, just so that it fits on one line. And over 15 years website design knowledge, right? So that's one key thing about my business that people may be interested in, or there's a key indicator for why you should choose my particular company over one of my competitors. And maybe hundreds of completed website design projects, we've completed hundreds of them. So why would you choose me? Well, we've got experience, we've got knowledge, and we've acquired that over a very long period of time. So here's 2 reasons to choose my company. I'm going to put in a few more, and then I'll leave you to think about reasons why people should choose your company. If you can come up with 10 good reasons, then that's not a bad thing to be doing, right? 10 good reasons for people to choose your company. What are those 10 good reasons? So let's see, website. should be okay. It's it's highlighting it as an error there, but I think that's just because of the grammar, right? Affordable website design solution. It seems fine. Website, it looks fine to me. And then let's just do a couple more things, right? So I might put in something like free access to over 500 tutorials. I've done more than 500 tutorials, so why don't I emphasize that my customer can access over 500 tutorials. Let's do one more, and then we'll leave the other side as it is, and we can fill that in maybe later. So let's paste this in here. So if you're running maybe a bakery, for example, maybe you want to create content based around that. Now, one thing you'll notice here is when I move this column here, it's moving the one below as well. And sometimes we don't want that, right? We want them to work kind of independently. And what we need to do really is create tables within tables. So maybe we should do that at the top here, or we can do that here as well. We should be able to. So let's try. Let's click here, and what we'll do is insert another table right here. So we'll go to insert table like this, and then we want to try and copy this. Let's copy and paste that into here. So it's not really going to work, I don't think. Let's see if we can scrub this across here and move this across to here. Let's see. So that should be independent from the other one, and there's another table here, you see. We'll move that across. So really we can get rid of this one here. We can select it and delete it. Get rid of all of this. Maybe this last one, we'll leave it for the minute. Let's just get rid of that. So this table now, it's basically the same content as before. We should really merge these cells. So let's right click and merge them. And we'll just space this out again. So now this table will work independently from the top table. It's a table buried inside another table. Think of it that way. So we can manipulate it separately. So let's just drag this to the side here. Let's just click here. And we just drag this in. So we've got the tables laid out like this. It's a very, very basic layout, as you can see. But once we finish this layout, it will help us to do a few things, right? Number one, it's giving us some structure. So normally something like this, if it's not finished, I would select it and maybe I want to come back to it later and I'll mark it yellow. So yellow tells me that I need to come back and look at this because I haven't finished off the top 10 things. So maybe I'll write these in later. And another note is when you get to one problem that I find sometimes is when you insert a table within another table, you want to make sure there's a blank space below and hit the space bar, because it'll insert a character here and then you'll get that space going across the bottom. If you don't do that, then it will be kind of stuck together, this table and the row below. It's not a major issue or anything, but I kind of like the spacing to be like this as well, nice and clean. So the other advantage of doing this layout in this way is you can actually check word count as well. So you can see, if I said to you, tell me how many words are on this page at present, I could tell you right now there's 92 words. So if you know anything about SEO and optimization and keywords and getting your content correct, normally I would do all of the written content for any of the projects I work on in a Word document first. So I can go and check things like keyword density, where the keywords are being placed. You know, a lot of information you can check just directly in Word, especially grammar stuff and spell checking. All of these things we can check directly in the Word document before we even consider building a website. But if you build a structure like this first, give that to your designer, then you can take this template and replicate it 50 times if you want for 50 different pages, and you will have a good structure to work from. You may end up having maybe 2 or 3 different versions of this Word document, but each one will be fairly similar. But the layouts may be slightly different because you want, you know, something a bit different on some of your pages. You don't want them to all be exactly identical. So you know, this is a good way to do that basically. So what's the next thing that, if this was my own business, what would be the next thing that I want to do? Really, I want to have a big message there to explain to the customer what's my key business, what is the key thing that I do. So I'm a web designer, right? So web designers, that's what we are. We're web designers. So I want to emphasize that and make it quite big. So normally inside these documents, if I want something to be big, make it big. It's simple. Make the text big, so when the designer sees that, he knows that that information needs to be quite prominent. In terms of font sizes, we want to have a big call to action there. The next thing I'll look at is maybe a little strap line, so some sort of subtext, right? We might even make that bold as well. So website design solutions to help your business grow. So if you're a bakery, you might write fresh bakery products made daily or something like this underneath, right? London bakery here and fresh bakery products made daily, something like that. And then 10 reasons to choose our bakery. You know, we don't use genetically modified products, or everything sourced fresh every day, and all of these good things, or 10 reasons to visit our restaurant, it's authentic food, and so forth, right? So you've got to think about this content. Content is really important on websites. So website design solutions to help your business grow, but what website design solutions? So I'm going to press the tab key just to make another section here, and in here I want to offer 3 types of services. For me, if you've got a website and you offer too many different things on the homepage, it can get a bit confusing for the customer. So if you've got someone visiting your website and you're offering, like, it depends, right? If you're an e-commerce shop, then it's different because you're going to have a lot of different products. But if you're a service-based business, then really you want to try and emphasize 1 or 2 or 3 products, your core products. What are the ones that generate the most revenue for you? Because if you do that, then the search engines also will pick up that this homepage is, or your website is, specializing in a specific area. Then you can build other content, other sub pages in your services section up here. When you click services, you might talk about graphic design, you might talk about internet marketing, creating YouTube videos, and all these other things that you offer. But the homepage itself, you want to really try and focus on one key service. So the key service for me is website design, and what I want to do is emphasize maybe 3 products that I offer, right? So I'm going to create a table. So I'm just going to go back to insert table and create 3 rows here. And you might have something similar. You may offer 4 different things, or 5 even, or even 6. And if you're going to do 6, you might do 3 here and then another 3 below. So let's just make up let's not make them up. Let's put something in that's factually correct. So one of the things I offer is business website design. I also offer something called e-commerce website design, and I also offer something called lead generation website design. So here are the 3 things that I offer. I'm going to press the tab key because that allows me to put in another row here, and I'll just click here to highlight this. Left click here on this row. Let's make it bold. And let's make them slightly bigger, right? Let's make them slightly bigger, something like this. And then we want a little sort of bit of subtext underneath. So it might say something like, get an amazing website for your small business or corporate organization. And then e-commerce will say something that's more relevant to selling products. So start selling your products online using powerful website shopping solutions. And then lead generation is all about generating leads, right, for your business. So that might be find new customers with a lead generation website design solution, something like this. It would have been nice to get them all onto 3. Let's see, let's just reduce the size here 1, and then we can get them all onto 2 lines like this. And normally what I would do now is just to illustrate, let's just click here and left align. And normally what I'll do is do a bullet list here. So I'll do a bullet list. I'm just going to fill out the first column, and the other ones will come back to maybe later and we'll look at them, right? So I'll put in a bullet list here, just of some information, and it says, let's zoom in here a little bit more for you. So it says custom design business websites, reliable website hosting and email, promote your business online, find new clients. So I would have one of these here and here as well, right? So I'll have, each one will contain 4 key things about this particular product that I'm offering. And now you can start to space things out a little bit. So you may put a carriage return here to give it a bit of space, maybe one above as well, just to space things out so visually you can see things a bit clearer. Something like this should be pretty good. I'm not sure why this bullet is bigger than the rest. Let's just, sometimes you can see this one's a bit bigger than the other. I'm really fussy like that, so just hit the backspace key here to get them all the same size. And these ones here, so this first one is pretty good. So I'm going to select all of this column here and mark it green, and then all of this stuff here I'm going to mark it green. But I know that I've got to come back here, and these ones I need to write a proper message inside of this. I'll highlight yellow because these ones are just a copy of this original one, right? So I'll come back and write some stuff in here later. So let's press the tab key one more time. We'll click here and we'll get rid of the colors, and we'll get rid of the bullets as well. Let's click here. I'm sure we can do it this way. Let's get rid of the bullet list, and I'll hit the enter key twice. Let's middle line, and I'll do something like get. Let's do this all in caps. Get free quote. So I want some sort of call to action. Your website needs call to actions. Call to actions are highlighted in blue, like this. There's no particular reason why I make them blue. I just want all of my call to actions on the page to stand out quite clearly. So if I come back and look at this page here, I might say, well, hold on a second, maybe I need a call to action in this header, right? So I might click up here, right click, and let's insert a row below. So I've got another row here. Now what I'll do is on this side here, I might paste in get a free quote here, some sort of button. But these two blocks, I don't really want to show them. So the way to fix the borders here is to highlight these two here, these two. Let's click on this drop down and say no borders. And now you can see we just need to now click here to highlight this row, and then say all borders, and then let's select this cell here. Well, let's click in this one, and we should be able to do a left border. And now we just need one over here, right? So let's click here and do left border. So now we just got a nice structured layout basically, right? Something like this. You could write something in here if you want, but I'm going to leave it blank. Okay, so we've got quite a lot done now. We've got quite a few things going on in here. So what's missing? So right down here, I've told my customers what sort of services I'm offering. So you tell your customers what sort of service you're offering. And then down here, maybe I'll do something like scrolling CR. I want some sort of scrolling images or some sort of technology, right? So maybe some of the different technology that I use, I want the little icons there that are going to scroll across, just like the client logos will scroll across here. The technology ones will scroll across here as well. So let's mark that green, and I'm going to hit the tab key to create some more space here. And in this section here, I want to create two columns. So I'm going to go to insert table, and I'm going to do one row and two columns like this. On this side here, I want to create a form. So I want to tell my designer that we need a form on this website to capture the client's information. So all we'll do is insert another table inside of this cell on the right. So we insert a table, just one row. In fact, we can probably, yeah, let's just do one row. So in this first row, what we'll do is left align. So go to home and click left align, and we'll just write in here, please enter your name, and then we'll press the tab key, please enter your email address, and then we'll hit the tab key again to create another cell, please enter your phone number, and then maybe I'll do something like there's an abbreviation we use is DDL. DDL stands for drop down list. So I want to create a drop down list so that the customer can select from that, and the first thing it will say is type of website, and then I'll just do a bullet list underneath. So I might write something like I want to promote my business, right, and that will be relevant to business website design. I want to sell products online, and that would be relevant to e-commerce. And then maybe we want I want to get more customer leads. I want to get more customer leads. That will be relevant to lead generation. And then I need a custom website. Not sure, need some help. So these are the things that the user can select from a drop down when they see the form processing. So they can select these options, one of these options here, and each one of those will give me as a developer or as a project manager a bit of understanding of what the customer wants, right? And sometimes people just select not sure or need some help. They may not know what they need. They may say I want an e-commerce website, but they're only selling one product. So they may not need a full-blown e-commerce website. They may be able to just put a simple PayPal button on their website, customers click it and pay, and then they've got that one thing that they're selling, right? Rather than having a full-blown e-commerce where you can run thousands of products. They just don't need that. So it's down for me as a project manager to contact that client and find out exactly what they need. But if you can get a bit of information from you, then it gives you a bit more, how can I say, you can be a bit more informative when you're having that conversation with the customer. So I'm going to press the tab key one more time, and in here I'm going to write please enter your message, and I'm going to hit the enter a few more times. Let's give it a little bit of space like this. So there's really 1, 2, 3, a drop down list, and then 4. There's only 4 fields for the user to fill in, and that's really good for mobiles. You don't want really long forms. You want to try and avoid long forms. You want something very quick to fill out. And underneath here, what I'll do is hit the enter key, and I might put another table cell here. And in fact, what we'll do is just put a call to action. So it'll be get your, let's do this in caps, get your free quote, right? So this will actually be a button, and we'll make that blue, and that will be the button that they click to submit the form, and then that information will come to me. So there needs to be something on this side, something to try and get that customer to fill out that form, some incentives, right? So the first thing I'm going to offer them is obviously a free website design quote. So get your free website design quote. Why would someone pay me to give them a quote? They're not going to pay me. I'm offering it to them free anyway, so you might as well tell them that they get it for free. And if you was like a bakery, you might say visit us on Wednesdays and get half price off a loaf of bread or something like this. You know, I'm just making it up, but you need some sort of incentive for a customer to contact you. And then sometimes it's worth giving more incentives. So I might do something like claim your 2 hours free consultancy. So any customer that contacts me that wants web design work done, I offer them 2 hours free consultancy. I'm willing to spend 2 of my hours sitting down with them to understand what their business is about, try and understand what is the best solution for their business, and then give them an accurate quote. This is what it will cost to deliver that project. So you can have a nice little form going on here, emphasizing that, right? And then you may have a few bullets, just some bullets, just to say like 15 years worth of website design knowledge, London-based web designers, affordable pricing. Quite a few of my customers have used website design companies overseas, and I'm not saying that there's a good or bad thing to that, but if you want something done and you want it done quickly, you may not want to wait 24 hours for someone to reply back to you to say I don't understand what you want me to do, because there's a big time difference, right? You want to be efficient and get things done. So that's where a lot of the businesses I work with just want to get things done and get it done quickly. So I might write something finally here like a no obligation quote. So if I send you a quote, you don't have to pay for it, it's free of charge, but you might as well tell the customer that. And then I can hand this now to my designer. Normally I'll proofread it, make sure it's all good, and then I'll just click here to highlight everything. Let's just make that, let's make that green. And now I can hand that to my designer, and he'll design a nice form for me, and he'll design a nice bit of content. It won't look like this. This is really for me or for you to get the words onto the page. And then you can go and tweak this quite quickly. Imagine if I want you to change something like claim your 2 hours free consultancy to claim your 2 hours free website consultancy. So when I write the word website in there, all I need to now do is highlight this and change it and make it like purple. So imagine if I sent that document to my designer already, and then I change something in there, everything will remain all the same colors, but this will be turned purple, and I'll say to him, please make updates that are all in purple. So he hasn't got to go and cut and paste in all of this information, which is a waste of time. All he needs to know is to look at this document, find everything that's purple, cut and paste it back into the new website, and we're good to go. So that's another sort of key reason why I use Word documents. And hopefully you're thinking about your own business now. And I'm not saying you have to structure your one out in this exact same way, but using tables like this, you can see you've got quite a bit of control, and you can really get some good structured layouts. That's what it's all about. It's about giving structure and then handing that off to your developer or your designer. So let's just press the delete key and press the space key. Always try and press the space key when you want a gap here to separate, right? And the next thing we'll do is probably, let's see, I think it's important that what we can do is actually just sort of copy this here, so we get the same font size. Let's paste it here, and maybe we'll do like our team, right? And we'll make this a little bit smaller, actually, something like this, because we want it to be the same as the main title. So I think it's important that people that visit my website get to see the people that work in the business. Often you go to a website and literally it's like talking to a robot, right? You don't know who's actually working in the business. So I think it's good to actually introduce the people in the business. So all I'll do is insert table 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 of us in the company at present. And what I'll do is just write photo 1. I'm just going to cut and paste this all the way across. So these are going to be 5 photographs of 5 different people. 4 and finally 5, and then we'll hit the tab key to make another row, and we'll put name here. Let's put name, and we just cut and paste that across. Let's do this properly. And then title, right? Who are these people in the company? And then finally short description. So I'll have a little section in here with a little brief bio, so a little bit of information about each one of these people. So that's all I'll normally do when I'm blocking out content for a page, just getting some basic structure. Sometimes that's all I'll put in the document for now, and then if I want to go and find these people in my company and say to them, look, send me a photo, send me a name. Well, I already know their names, I already know their titles, but send me a short description about what you do in the company. All of that I can probably write all myself anyway, but the photograph they're going to need to send to me, right? So this stuff here, I'll just mark it up as yellow, because normally I wouldn't stop here. I wouldn't let that stop me from finishing this document. So I'll just mark it yellow, and I'll come back and look at that later. I'll click here and hit the space bar and then hit the tab key to create a new section. And in this new section, I'm just going to put a section in here, and I'm just going to call it scrolling SEO text. So sometimes on the site, especially my own sites when I'm building them, I always think about search engine optimization, right? And I want to get a lot of written content into my pages, but I don't want that content to be like massive. You can see the page at the moment, you can see how much content we've got, and if I wrote 3,000 words and the page was like, you know, all the way down here somewhere in written content, it's not going to look very good. So normally when I've got a lot of written content, I try and not cram it, but place it into a function or some sort of design element that allows it to allows the user to just scroll through the content rather than having to look at lots of text all in the same place. Okay, so let's highlight that. I'm going to mark it green. I think that's good to go, and I'll explain a bit more of this in detail. So if you continue watching this, we're almost done. What I'll do is explain a bit more about this document, and then we'll add a couple more things, and then we'll be done. So here I will write footer navigation. So I want some sort of footer navigation here. Normally that would be replicated from the top, but sometimes in the top here you just want basic navigation, right? You want to keep it simple. You don't want like 50 or even 10 different things here. I think 10's even overkill. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things that they can click on, and each one might have sub pages. So if you click on services, that may contain other pages that they can navigate to. But you want to keep that pretty simple. But down here in the bottom, you can maybe have a more structured sort of navigation system down here, right? It's entirely your choice. But normally I have a footer navigation, and then I'll have terms and conditions, and then a privacy policy, right? Privacy policy. So these will be 2 more links separated away, and then normally we'll have like a copyright. Copyright 2019. Normally we write something like copyright 2019, all rights reserved, and then normally I'll put my company name here, something like this. That's okay. Normally we have like a little copyright sign here, but you know, that's okay for the minute. That should be fine. And then what else do I want? So when people come to visit my website, or when people come to visit your website, what you'll find is a lot of businesses will put their social media somewhere. So up here, like in the top up here, they'll have like their Facebook, their Twitter, their Instagram, and all of their social media accounts. And for me, that's kind of counterproductive. If someone looks up here and clicks on Facebook and they go to your Facebook page, how does that make sense? Why does it make sense to send your customer that's on your, or a potential customer that's already on your website, you put all the effort to get them there, and now you're sending them off to a social media account somewhere else? You should be sending your social media visitors to your website, not your website to your social media profiles. So normally down here in the footer, what I do is put in some social media bookmarking tools. So these social media bookmarking tools allow visitors to come and socially bookmark this website page on their own social media profiles. I want them, the visitors to my website, to bookmark my website on their social media accounts, rather than clicking on a Facebook or a Twitter page or an Instagram or wherever it might be, and end up going to my Twitter, Facebook or Instagram page, which defies kind of the objective of this website. The objective is to keep the customer here, not send them somewhere else. So we've got a pretty good structure here. Normally down here, so I'm pretty much done with this page, but down here normally I'll put in notes. So I might just have some general notes about, you know, color scheme. I might make a little note here, use colors from logo, and blue. Let's say like a light blue color, something like. Normally when I do design work for my own business, I kind of keep the colors very simple, just like 2, maybe 3 colors, and then use photography or imagery to add more color to the website. So a little note down here at the very top, a couple of important things. So page title, and let's just say that the page title here will be DCP Web Designers, something like London Web Design Agency, right? So these are the keywords that I want to try and rank high for in the search engines. I want to rank high for web designers and London Web Design Agency, something like this. Then you want meta keywords, and normally that would be something like this. It would be web designers, London Web Design Agency, maybe business website design, e-commerce web design, right? Something like this. And then you want a meta description. I'm going to explain what these 3 things are in a moment. Description, looking for an amazing website designer. Simply give DCP Web Designers a call today for a free web development quote. So that would be the meta description. So you've got a meta description. Let's see. Got page title. So looking for amazing web designers. So you've got page title, meta keywords, meta description, and normally I'll have a page URL. And because this is my home page, this is the home page for my website, that would just be dcpweb.co.uk. But if it was a sub page, it would be dcpweb.co.uk slash, I don't know, web design. That would be the page for the URL for that particular page, or slash business website design, or slash e-commerce website design, right? And all pages should be hyphenated like this to separate the words to make it correct. But I'm going to leave it as just website design. So here you can see the structure, and now you can do two things, right? Number one, you can save this document and come back to it. Everything in green is good to go. All of these yellow things I know I need to still write up and come back and look at. I can change the structure quite quickly. If I want to add another 3 elements underneath this one, all I need to do is just click here to highlight this table, copy it, and then I'll press the enter key twice and paste it. Now I've got those 3 elements again. So if I wanted to offer 6 services, I can easily offer 6 services. All I've got to do now is just retype that text over the top, right? Just delete it and put in new text. So you can get content laid out in a basic format, in a basic structure, call this a wireframe, quite quickly. And this document is not ready for printing, it's ready for sending to your designers or your developers, wherever it may be, via email. Now normally what I would do, if I was sending this to a customer, if I was sending it to my designers or developers, I would send it as a Word document and as a PDF file. But if I'm sending it just to my client, then I might just send them a PDF file. Or I can send them, to be fair, I would send them both, because there's nothing in this document that is personal to your own business. This is done for someone else's business, right? This is not for your, well, this might be for your own business, but if you're able to send this to your designer in a Word format and a PDF, then at least the designer can make some notes in here and say, do you know what, maybe you didn't highlight this any color, maybe you highlighted it only, you know, it wasn't highlighted at all, let's just say no color. Then your designer might come back to you and say, well, which one of these 4 things did you want? Did you want video? Did you want showcase projects? What did you want? And then he can just highlight that green, because you said over the phone, that's what I want. And then he can email you back a second version, right? It will be 02 version, if that makes sense. Hopefully that makes sense. So this is pretty good structure. Let's take a look at this and compare it to a real life example now. So let's drag this across here. Let's make this a bit smaller. And let's zoom this out. So you can probably just about see this Word document. I need to give it a bit of space here, right? So the reason why I laid out this document is because I have a real working example of this document now. So here you can see we custom design amazing websites. Here you can see my logo. Here you can see the navigation. Here you can see the phone numbers and get a free quote. So you can see how I created this document first, and then I handed it over to my designers, and I told my designer I want a message to be written here. We custom design and build amazing websites for businesses, increase conversions, revenue and social media engagement, right? So if you was a bakery, you might write something like, we use only the best organic products, all products are baked daily, fresh, we open at 7 AM, so you can come and visit us 7 AM in the morning and we'll give you a fresh loaf of bread or whatever it might be. You can write some information about your business here. It doesn't have to be in the structure either. Then in here I said block images showcase client work. Really I should have highlighted video as well, right? So let's just try and go back to the home. Let's see, let's just expand this a second. Let's make it green. Really the video part in here should have been green as well, because what I decided to do in the end, and you're probably aware that there's this new thing called 5G. So 5G is going to become more and more popular I reckon over the next year. 5G should take off quite a lot, and it's just a faster connection for your mobile device. So when you've got these very, very fast connections, users are now going to have more powerful handsets, they're going to have more powerful mobile phones, and if you're on a 5G connection, then you're about to download content very, very fast. So this is why I'm starting to try and put some video content, multiple video content into these tiled sections. So I asked my designer to block images, showcase client work, video. So we've got images in here, still images, and we've got video content. So I went and made these videos using some various video editing tools, and I want to showcase some of my work for my clients. So all of these blocks here are representing projects for clients. So if I click on WeBrief Media, for example, then you can see here in the portfolio what it looks like. This site is still under development. This is like a development site that we're working on at the moment. But if I click View Website here, I did the layout document for this WeBrief Media as well. And in that case, I specified that only video was supposed to be displayed in the header, because that's what the client wanted, but they also wanted some scrolling text. So in that document, when I created it for this business, it would have said video in header, scrolling text. So here you can see the scrolling text, and here you can see the video that we created for it, right? You've got logos sliding across here as well. Just like if I close this and go back to my home page, which is what this page is designed by, here you can see those logos, right? Here I said client logo scrolling. Here I said top 10 reasons to choose DCP web designers. So we're still working on this part here, but here you see top 10 reasons. Here's 5 of them, and here's the other 5 to make 10 in total. And later I would have written those other 5 in here. I would have checked it, make sure it's all good, and then I would have highlighted it and made it green. So sometimes I'll hand these documents to my designers and they're not complete. They might still have yellow elements in there, but at least the designer gets some of the content, and then he can place placeholders in there. Preferably you give all of the information 100% finished. But for me, when it comes to written content, it's never 100% finished. It can always be improved. It can always be made better. But if you can highlight most of it in green, then you're in a good place. So then we get to this website design section. Now here you can see web designers help your business grow. I spoke about these 3 different sections here, and here you can see them, right? The business, the e-commerce, the lead generation. So you can see how this Word document is helping the designer or the developer to lay out content in a structured way. If you give someone free reign to do whatever they want, that's good for the designer. He can be very, very creative. But if you've seen something else somewhere else, or if you've built previous websites that have performed very well, or if you know of a competitor that's doing very, very well in your industry, then why not take some ideas from those sources? Why are you going to reinvent the wheel when someone else has already made that wheel that's working very, very well for you? I'm not saying go and copy someone else's project, but there's nothing stopping you from taking ideas from other websites. There's nothing illegal about that. No one owns design unless it's some sort of branding or something like that. In terms of structuring, you can use other people's, or you can get ideas from other people's websites to help design your website. Just don't make it the same. Add your own spin to it. Add your own creativity to it. So if we scroll down a little bit more, we'll see these little logos that slide across, and that was these scrolling images of technology. And then we've got the get a free quote, and then you've got the form here. And do you remember I said I did a drop down list with some options? So when you click there, you can see the options here, what the customer can select. They can fill out this form, hit that get a quote button. Where did we do that? There it is, get a free quote. And we've got a little bit about security here and privacy policy. We didn't add that in here, but we could have put that in there as well. If we scroll down, then you see the team members here. So we're talking about adding photographs and pictures of people in the team. So here's the team members in the company. And then last but not least, we have this scrolling SEO text. So in here, there's a lot of written content. It's all good written content. Don't write spammy content, write well written content. But what I didn't want to do on this project is to have all of that information, all of this written content in one big paragraph of information. I wanted to keep it quite brief, so I managed to get a lot of written content in here, but in a very finite space. But the written content reads well. That's most important. It's not spammy. It's not written in a spammy way. If you read it, if you ever get, this site should go live fairly soon, maybe in a couple of weeks, and then you'll be able to go and visit this website and read the content. You'll see it's quite clean, well written. Website navigation. Here I was talking about creating navigation that's not exactly the same as the top. So on the top you only had home. What did we have there? We had home, services, portfolio, blog, and and contact us. So here you can see quite a few more other links, right? So here we have our terms and conditions. We have our copyright that we noted at the bottom here. And also we have the social bookmarking tool. So here you can see the social bookmarking tool. This is a development website. This is not my new, or this is my new website, but it's not live at the moment. So that's why it only says one share here, you see? But if I were to click on one of these, it will open up your own social media profile and allow you to share my website onto your social media profile. So let me show you what that really means. If I go to dcpweb.co.uk, this is the website that is live at the moment. And the whole reason why I'm rebuilding my website is I believe that this site contains too much info. There's too much to understand here. There's just too much to understand, right? Too many things to look at. But one thing it did do very well is it got 3.4k shares. So every time someone clicks on one of these buttons and shares some sort of content from my page, that is a share. And we've got 3,400 shares here, which is pretty good if you think about it, right? That's someone else promoting my business for me. So I must be doing something good. So I believe this site will outperform the last site. I believe it will be better for conversions and visually it will be better. The portfolio looks much better as well. So if you go to the old site and click portfolio, you can see all of the squares were all pretty much the same size. It was nicely designed, don't get me wrong. But the new site, we've decided to use different shape sizes for different images. We've got clearer messages about what we've done here, company logo designs. And we've put a ton of work in here that we didn't have online before. So we've been back through literally the last 6 months or so and found all the projects that we worked on. We were so busy, we didn't get time to even list all of these projects in here. But we've gone back and listed them all. So we've got endless amounts of work being listed up in here. And we're going to keep updating and improving this. So the objective of today's tutorial was really to, let's just save this, to show you how to create these documents in Microsoft Word to help you get structured layout for your website pages. So I hope you find this really informative and quite interesting. It's a different approach to creating these wireframes. There's a lot of online tools or websites where you can go and create these documents and create these structures online, but I've used quite a few of them and I've always come back to Microsoft Word for two reasons. First of all, I know how to use Microsoft Word, so I haven't got to go and learn a new tool. And second of all, most of my customers don't have to now go to another website and log into some other system to try and interact with a wireframe document. I can just send them this Word document. Most people know how to use Microsoft Word, or at least type, and they can do the basic typing, they can fill out the basic information. Sometimes I just create these structures and just give them to my clients and they go and fill in all the information and send it back to me. It makes their life easier. If you can make your customer's journey, your customer's life easier, that's a good thing. If you can make your developer's life easier and your designer's life easier, that's a good thing too. So it works both ways, right? You as the business owner, if you can give something like this to your developers, then you're going to make their life a lot easier. If you don't have the skills to do something like this, then get your designer and request for them to help you make something like this. That way you can both interact. The nice thing about this is also, if I close it and open up this folder, if I said to you, okay, this is the wireframe, really we should label this a bit better. This will be the website wireframe. Normally I would write homepage here, right? Homepage, website wireframe. Then I can just right click on it, drag it down, copy here, get rid of the word copy here, and change it to something like a business website design page. And then I can open up this document, just change this, so this would say now business website design, and then I'll change all of this information. I'll change the titles, maybe what information goes in here. Some things I will remove, I'll add new things in. Some blocks of information I'll take out, or may change the information on the form. I might get rid of this thing here and replace it with something else, and I'll be able to edit this document quite quickly, write the content into it, and produce another page efficiently without having to restart the whole Word document again. So a good example of that is if I go to services here and I click on business website design. Here you can see, instead of having the little thumbnails like on the home page where you had these boxes, This time around, I said to my designer, I don't want to show the same thing there. This time I want to showcase some businesses that we've done work for, some nice websites that we've built, right? So we put this little scrolling thing here. So all I wrote in the Word document is image scroller. That's it. And then I explained to him what did I mean by that, or I can write some detailed notes in the Word document. Then you've got like a call to action here. Then I've got 3 boxes here, but these 3 boxes are slightly written differently to the ones on the homepage. Similar content, but reworded. You don't really want to create duplicate content on pages. It's not the best thing. You want to try and have unique content on each page. But the structure is very similar, right? Instead of having the boxes, you have this slider. You have this title here, similar to the home page. You've got the 3 boxes similar to the home page. You've got the form processing, which is similar as well. And then you've got the scrolling box here with the information, which is similar. And the navigation on the footer normally is consistent throughout the whole page. So that's not to worry too much about. But I'm still working on this site. By no means is it complete. But hopefully now you have a bit of understanding of how to create these wireframes for your own business and create some, pretty good content. The key is to make the wireframe, but also be able to do things like word counts, so you can count how many words are on the page. There'll be like 400 words. I normally aim for at least 1500, and then you can do like Control F to find, and you can find something like a website, right? And then it will tell you there's 18 results. So now you know how many times you've used that particular keyword on the page, because you don't want to use it too many times, right? So you can think about structure and design, and it will tell you where these keywords have been used down the side here. And I find that really, really useful. Another tool, I'll just briefly show you another tool that I use. So once I've got all of the written content into my page, and then I've designed the page, another plugin that you should really try and download is called SEO Quake. So if I click on this and then activate it, and then go to density here. In density, I can check how many words are exactly on the page, how many are 2-word key phrases, how many are 3-word, and how many are 4-word key phrases. And then I can look at density. Am I using a keyword too many times? Have I repeated it too many times? How prominent is it? And so forth, right? So that website design, it was mentioned 26 times, but it's only 1% of the content on that page. So that's how you can use SEO Quake. That's just another tool. That's a whole different tutorial. I've actually already done a tutorial on SEO Quake, so I'll put a link to that tutorial in the YouTube description explaining how to use this tool to diagnose your page and find errors, and check your content and check the quality of your content, and check how many times you're using certain keywords. And here you can see all of the text that's written for that homepage in one big block. It's not the most presentable, but at least you can see that you're getting the right amount of information. Remember, Google eats words for breakfast. So if you feed the search engine informative content, and if you get good backlinks, and you get good social media profile, and you build up your YouTube channels, and you do all of that good stuff, and you put effort in, then you can expect to rank high for good keywords. Some really, really good keywords like website designers. I'm ranking, pretty high for that, and London web designers, I've ranked pretty high for that. Quite a few different keywords, but that takes time and effort. Keep your blog up to date. And build good sites that look good, and make sure they look good on mobile devices as well. So when you resize for a mobile phone, make sure everything looks correct. This still needs a bit of work, it's in development, but try and make things that look good. If it looks good and it performs well, then there's no reason why you can't attract businesses. Okay, let's close that down. Let's close this down. I hope you find that information very useful. If you've got any questions, feel free to contact me using the comments on YouTube, or if you see this on Facebook, comment on Facebook. This was supposed to be probably about a 10-minute tutorial. It's ended up being 1 hour long, but sometimes we have to explain things clearly so you get a better understanding of how to do these things, and then you can produce better content. Okay, I hope you find this tutorial useful, and I look forward to seeing you on the next DCP web tutorial.